Salt isn't the enemy, it's your friend. Hi, this is Kirk, the Bariatric Carnivore, and today I want to talk a little bit about salt. Now, for the since the 1970s, salt has been demonized as the enemy. It's the great creator of hypertension. It's the thing that's killing Americans. It's the scourge of the earth. It's right up there with alcohol and tobacco. Is that true? Well, there was a study in 2016 that was published in The Lancet I think in 2018 from McMaster's University in Canada. And they did an interesting study. They went and looked at, okay, how many, what's the salt content in urine? They didn't ask people how much they ate. They really tried to measure it on how much people were peeing out every day. And what they found out is on average we're peeing out somewhere about 3.5 to 5 grams every day. And then they compared, okay, let's see, how much urine you're putting out, how much salt you're putting out every day versus longevity. And they found that the people that lived the longest and the healthiest were probably eating somewhere in the neighborhood of 3.5 to 5 grams of salt a day. 2-3 times more than what the federal government in the United States recommends. Which is interesting. What they found is if you ate what the government recommended, those people lived the shortest amounts of time. They had the most health problems. And that goes against, again, what most of us think to be true. We assume that, if we follow the government guidelines, we're going to be healthy. And frankly, it appears again that following the government guidelines is actually deleterious to your health. It's going to create more problems. Now, there's different forms of salt. Most of the salt that we get in our diet is because it's from processed food. And when you switch over, if you switch to a whole food diet, you're going to find yourself caught up in a conundrum. You're going to have to start adding salt. If you're now there are some people in the carnivore community that say, no, we get enough salt from our meat and therefore we don't need any more, and that's fine. But I think you need to salt to taste. If you look at the study from McMaster's University, and I will include the link to that study in the notes below, it's pretty interesting that you need about 3 to 5 grams, which means for most of us we have to salt to taste. Now, that's the easiest way of figuring it out. You are a salt-craving animal. You will automatically know. Your body self-regulates on the amount of salt that it takes in because it pees out excess. We maintain our electrolyte balance rather well if it's kept, if we eat whole foods and we're healthy and we're metabolically healthy. Now, one of the problems with many people is they eat in excess of 120 to 240 grams of carbs every day. That's kind of typical. We are more vegetarian than you really think when you look at the amount of stuff that's not animal products in the diet. The average American eats about less than 2 ounces of red meat every day, which is basically a bite. So most of our calories are coming from the form of carbohydrates. Now, if you switch to a low-carb diet or close to a zero-carb diet, which I'm on, there's a problem. See, carbohydrates tend to draw more moisture into your bloodstream. One of the reasons why you lose weight rapidly when you begin a low-carb diet is you start peeing out a lot of fluid because your body's no longer holding on to water in your system, and that throws your electrolytes out of balance. That's a reason why a lot of people have the carnivore flu. That's what it's titled, that they feel kind of icky for the first week or two after they switch to a low carb diet. Well, it's mostly because they're out of balance as far as their electrolytes are concerned. They're peeing out a lot of salt, and if they added in 3 to 5 grams of salt, particularly during that initial transition, they won't have that problem. The electrolyte balance stays in effect. So take a look at that. Don't fear salt. I don't use regular sea salt, and I don't use the processed salt that's iodized. I use Redmond's real salt. Why? Well, frankly, I think could be a problem. I can't guarantee it, but it looks like there's a lot of microplastics being broken up in the ocean right now. And so when you get sea salt, you're getting those microplastics and then the other stuff and the other junk that we're dumping in the ocean. And if you're using the processed salt, that's chemically created, and I don't think that's necessarily as healthy. What's great about things like Redmond's salt, which is from Utah here in the United States, it's from an old salt bed that was created that ocean is long gone and was gone way before we started doing industrial pollution and way before plastic got into the system. So it's probably a cleaner source than getting it out of today's ocean. And it's got a ton of other minerals in it too. So take a look at it, try it out. It's red, it tastes great. They have different flavors. You can get a smoked flavored one, which can help make your food taste better in certain conditions if you like it. It's fairly inexpensive, and it's certainly a great addition to the diet. You need salt. It helps keep you healthy. It seems to improve longevity according to this study. I can't guarantee it, but it looks that way. Don't fear salt. Salt's your friend. You are a salt-seeking animal. All mammals need salt. If you like this content, you want to hear more about it, hit the like, subscribe button. Love for you to be part of our community. If you're one of those people that fear salt or you disagree with this, please leave a comment below. I'm always trying to learn more about it, but from what I can read, from what I can tell, you need salt, man. Don't fear it. It isn't going to increase your blood pressure according to the studies. It's not going to make you die of a cardiovascular event. It's actually a vital nutrient. It helps keep your electrolytes in balance, and it's going to help you, particularly when you transition. If you switch to a low-carb diet, it's absolutely vital. If you go too low on salt, and by the way, sometimes, just out of curiosity, if you ever want to know what 5 grams of salt look like, grab a kitchen scale. Measure out 5 grams. Measure out 3.5 grams and realize that this is how much salt I need to add to my food every day in order to maintain optimal health, at least according to this one study.